He's a moth-winning storyteller and a former college mascot. Yes, give it up for Julia Lechner!
All right. It's time. I brought receipts. In 2005, during my senior year high school health class, we did not learn about health. Instead, our assignment was to continue the annual senior year health class tradition of completing a marriage project. I am obsessed with talking about this because in the 20 years since I've graduated high school, I have never met a single person who had to do this in their high school. And so I'm going to tell you about it for the next 5 to 8 minutes, so you'll believe me too. Next slide, please. As a high achiever, I know, I was young once. As a high achiever who cared desperately about my grades, I knew that refusing to plan a fake wedding was not an option. I would not allow table settings to impact my GPA. And so, I decided I would plan the most unconventional wedding my small southern New Jersey town had ever seen. And enlisting Jay as my spouse-to-be was step 1 of that plan. My classmate Jay was going for an emo or counterculture thing. He had long, dark hair that hung in his face. He dressed exclusively in black, and he never smiled. Jay looked the way I felt about this project. We were opposites in many ways, but we both knew one thing. This project was whack. And if you want to know the kind of student I was, I think you're getting a sense. I once called out one of my teachers who copy-pasted a quiz from sparknotes.com. Like it literally still said sparknotes.com on it. And I felt he could have exerted more effort on his part in creating an original pop quiz for us. So I was pretty salty about the marriage project in health class. Next slide, please. To begin our high school marriage project, each couple in the class was given a budget of $25,000 and tasked with making a wedding scrapbook. The assignment required including things like writing our love story, finding our wedding attire, and selecting wedding favors. We needed to print out and glue the photos and cost of each item into this scrapbook that was on the marriage project checklist. We were graded on the completion of this scrapbook, a quiz about our marriage project, and our wedding budget. And then we moved on to part 2. Oh my God. Life after the wedding, where we spun a wheel to learn our careers, like the board game Life. And we budgeted that new life together. This was also said and graded. And then after all was said and done, we were allowed to learn about babies. This was a public high school in New Jersey in 2005. In our health class over the next several weeks, Jay and I began working on our marriage project. And as is always the case with the annual marriage project, the girls do most of the work and the boys do not really help at all. This was still largely the case for Jay and I, but he did make some key contributions when it came to planning our fake futures together. To select a wedding date, I asked, "When should we get married, Jay?" He looked at me and answered, next slide, please, "Halloween." The look in his eyes suggested that he thought I, the goody two-shoes, would say, "No way, Jay, Halloween." But instead I said, "That sounds great, Halloween it is." Our teacher would hate it. We selected and printed out all of the things from the checklist in order to glue them into this scrapbook. My wedding favors for my bridesmaids. Next slide. Rhinestone thongs. Next slide, please. Jay's wedding favors for his groomsmen. A flask, a cigar holder, A knife. Most of our proposed purchases were from eBay and as cheap as possible, with my goal being to use the least amount of our budget as we could in order to avoid supporting the wedding industrial complex. I also sought to demonstrate that a couple can get married without spending $25,000. On one of our final pages of our scrapbook, Jay offered to draw a portrait of us on our October 31st wedding day. Yes. Next slide, please. My first husband. We both looked forward off the pages of the scrapbook with that closed mouth, smile, non-smile, stoic look like an emo, early 2000s Halloween-y version of American Gothic. And as you can see, he even gave me collarbones, and like, I don't have visible collarbones. He did a great job. Next slide, please. Some of my high school friends were offended that they weren't selected to be in my wedding party on All Hallows Eve. To which I assured them I honestly hadn't wanted to invite anyone to be in my fake high school wedding, and I'd only done so because our teacher threatened to deduct points if we did not invite guests to our high school wedding. And also in a rare moment of tenderness, Jay told me, I'd really like to have my grandma there. He was really sweet. For part 2, Life After the Wedding, we spun a wheel to be assigned our careers. Next slide, please. Jay would be a police officer, and I would be a lawyer. For our household budget, we showed how we managed to live below our means, driving a 2003 Toyota Celica, living in a small apartment in Glassboro, New Jersey, and we wrote down such insights as, we've learned we never want children, they are money eaters. And we do not have a house of our own, we rent an apartment. But we are very happy and have all the love we need, and we've successfully balanced our budget with a surplus. Because we turned in our project early, we got extra credit. But my teacher still found some areas to deduct points. Next slide, please. -3 points, because my engagement ring from eBay was too cheap. That was the appropriate reaction. And we received a warning on our household budget because we managed to have a surplus when we could have spent more money each month. Oh. What kind of financial advice is that for a child? Recently, I went home to New Jersey, and my parents have only kept a shoebox amount of my things at this point, and in the bottom, I found this marriage project scrapbook. I flew it home to show my real-life husband. My husband, Johnny, not Jay. Sorry to reveal that. I do not know what happened to Jay. He's not on social media. My husband and I eloped a few years ago. There were no guests at our City Hall ceremony. Because there was no mandatory checklist, we spent way, way, way less than $25,000 getting married. Next slide, please. Instead of a scrapbook, I created a Google spreadsheet. I called this the San Fran City Hall elopement spreadsheet, where I tracked all of our elopement expenses. Wow. Sometimes on our anniversary, I make my husband look at this to see how we can account for all our special memories, and it's perfectly formatted rows. You can't see it on here, but I budgeted everything. $1 on bananas at Starbucks, $12 for coffee, groom's wedding band, $14 from Amazon.com. He is not a cop, and I'm not a lawyer because it's LA, so he's a writer. I'm a writer, he's an actor. We made different choices. We don't have the board game life. We have no children. We drive a 2004 Toyota Camry. And we don't own a home. We rent an apartment, but we are very happy. I wonder where I got those ideas from. Oh, and my husband shops on eBay all the time, and I do not deduct any points for that. If anyone would like to see the proof, you can find me after the show. Thank you.